So we continue now with chapter 2. In the course of time, David inquired of the Lord, shall I go up to one of the towns of Judah? Remember, he was in exile for a long time until the death of Saul and his son Jonathan and his other sons in battle. So he says, shall I go to one of the towns of Judah? He asked. The Lord said, go up. David asked, where shall I go? To Hebron, the Lord answered. And so David went up there with his two wives, Ahinoam of Jezreel and Abigail, and the widow of Nabal of Carmel. David also took the men who were with him, each with his family, and they settled in Hebron and its towns. Then the men of Judah came to Hebron, and there they anointed David king over the tribe of Judah. When David was told that it was the men from Jabesh Gilead who had buried Saul, he sent messages to them to say to them, the Lord bless you for showing this kindness to Saul your master by burying him. May the Lord now show you kindness and faithfulness, and I too will show you the same favor because you have done this. Now then, be strong and brave, for Saul your master is dead, and the people of Judah have anointed me king over them. Meanwhile, Abner, son of Ner, the commander of Saul's army, had taken Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim. He made him king over Gilead, Ashuri, and Jezreel, and also over Ephraim, Benjamin, and all Israel. Ishbosheth, son of Saul, was 40 years old when he became king over Israel, and he reigned 2 years. The tribe of Judah, however, remained loyal to David. The length of time David was king in Hebron over Judah was 7 years and 6 months. Abner, son of Ner, together with the men of Ishbosheth, son of Saul, left Mahanaim and went to Gibeon. Joab, son of Zeruiah, and David's men went out and met them at the pool of Gibeon. One group sat down on one side of the pool, and one group on the other side. And Abner said to Joab, let's have some of the young men get up and fight hand to hand in front of us. All right, let them do it, Joab said. So they stood up and were counted off, 12 men for Benjamin and Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and 12 for David. Then each man grabbed his opponent by the head and thrust his dagger into his opponent's side, and they fell down together. So that place in Gibeon was called Helkath Hazurim. The battle that day was very fierce, and Abner and the Israelites were defeated by David's men. The 3 sons of Zeruiah were there, Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. Now Asahel was as fleet-footed as a wild gazelle. He chased Abner, turning neither to the right nor to the left as he pursued him. Abner looked behind him and asked, What is that you, Asahel? It is, he answered. Then Abner said to him, Turn aside to the right or to the left. Take on one of the young men and strip him of his weapons. But Asahel would not stop chasing him. Again Abner warned Asahel, Stop chasing me. Why should I strike you down? How could I look your brother Joab in the face? But Asahel refused to give up the pursuit. So Abner thrust the butt of his spear into Asahel's stomach, and the spear came out through his back. He fell there and died on the spot. And every man stopped when he came to that place, to the place where Asahel had fallen and died. But Joab and Abishai pursued Abner, and as the sun was setting, they came to the hill of Ammah, near Gihah, on the way to the wasteland of Gibeon. Then the men of Benjamin rallied behind Abner. They formed themselves into a group and took their stand on top of a hill. Abner called out to Joab, Must the sword devour forever? Don't you realize that this will end in bitterness? How long before you order your men to stop pursuing their fellow Israelites? Joab answered, As surely as God lives, if you had not spoken, the men would have continued pursuing them until morning. So Joab blew the trumpet, and all the troops came to a halt. They no longer pursued Israel, nor did they fight anymore. All that night Abner and his men marched through the Arabah. They crossed the Jordan, continued through the morning hours, and came to Mahanaim. Then Joab stopped pursuing Abner and assembled the whole army. Besides Asahel, 19 of David's men were found missing. But David's men had killed 360 Benjamites who were with Abner. They took Asahel and buried him in his father's tomb at Bethlehem. Then Joab and his men marched all night and arrived at Hebron by daybreak. So the followers of the most powerful men in the land decided to face off with the absence of their leaders. So Abner was a former commander of the army of Saul, and he takes Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, at 40 years old and makes him king over Israel. But Judah have already chosen David to be their king. Now remember that David first of all had inquired from the Lord should he settle in one of the cities, and the city that he went to, which was Hebron, that is the same city that he was anointed, and the people were ready to make him king, even though he just wanted a place to settle. And at this point we see that at the same time the rest of Israel has their own king, which is the son of Saul, who has been anointed by Abner, the son of Ner. And then they decide, let's see who should be king over all of Israel, not just one tribe. And they take matters into their hands as the followers of this man. Abner was a great man in his own right as a commander of the armies of Israel, and so was Joab. And we see that despite them wanting to settle this, it caused so much bloodshed, including one of their own great men, Asahel. And Abner asks Asahel, who is bitterly pursuing, very, very focused on killing or wounding Abner. He says, Abner said to Asahel, turn aside to the right or to the left, take on one of the young men, strip him of his weapons. But Asahel would not stop chasing him. Again, Abner warned Asahel, stop chasing me. Why should I strike you down? How could I look your brother Joab in the face? But Asahel refused to give up the pursuit. Sometimes we need to give up the pursuit. Sometimes we just need to give up the pursuit. So Abner thrust the butt of his spear into Asahel's stomach, and the spear came out through his back. He fell and died on the spot. Now notice, it has been said that he was like fleet-footed as a wild gazelle in chapter 18. And I think they all knew each other, or were brothers really, because he said, Joab says, how could I look your... Sorry, Abner says, how could I look your brother Joab in the face? So Abner seems to have respected Joab. And Joab, just having lost his brother, continues the pursuit, very intent on settling this. So Abner calls it to a halt and asks in 26, must the sword devour forever? Don't you realize that this will end in bitterness? How long before you order your men to stop pursuing their fellow Israelites? Now Joab, despite losing his brother, still is pursuing Abner and his armies and his men. And Joab answers, surely as the Lord lives, if you had not spoken, the men would have continued. So he blew the trumpet and calls a ceasefire. All that night they traveled through the desert, the Arabah, and they crossed the Jordan and continued to the morning hours and came to Mahanaim, and that's where they buried beside Asahel, 19 of David's men were found missing. Yeah. But David's men had killed 360 Benjamites who were with Abner. So there was great bloodshed on Abner's side of the Benjamites. They took Asahel and buried him in his father's tomb at Bethlehem. Then Joab and his men marched all night and arrived Hebron. Notice David is not in this mix. Neither is the crowned king of Israel, Ishbosheth. So what was driving these people? Did they just want their leaders to become the reigning king? They wanted to settle the power struggle. You can see the power struggle led to a total of the 19 that were missing from David's side, and the others were 360. Yeah. So almost 380 men just gone, really, just like that. There are 380 men whose lives were lost in this struggle for